Welcome back to the off cycle again, continuing on here with the vintage Runabout restoration. Today's plan is to get these stringers sanded down a little bit from the chop strand mat that I sealed them in with, and put the 1708 down on each side of it. I've decided I'm not going to try to wrap the 1708 over top of the stringers, just because that cloth is just not going to be able to make that bend, that turn. So I'm going to do 1708 on each side, and then I'm going to cap it with chop strand mat, wrapping on the outside of the 1708 that way it can shed any water that's there. The top cap will be overlapping the sides. So that's the plan today. About to get in here and sand these down a little bit, rough them up, and get rid of all any little fibers that are sticking out from the chop strand mat, and go ahead and start mixing up some resin and laying down the 1708. I've got some of my, I think I have enough cut so far for the center stringer, and then I'm gonna have to cut some more, but the side stringers are not gonna have to be as tall. They're probably gonna be 2 or 3 inches narrower than this, but these are 9 inches wide, so these should go up most of the stringer and give me a nice base at the bottom. But like I said, this is 1708 chop strand mat, backing on it, stitched together, whatnot. So that is what we're about to start glassing in. Just gonna mix up some resin and get to it.
I'm the shy type, so calm down. You know I can stand it. The screaming, I don't get it. Always so damn angry. You're the shy type, that's nice. You can stand it either. The screaming for no reason. They are always angry. You are so lonely, I get it. We can be lonely together. We can be lonely forever.
All right, so we got our sanding done. Just use a 60 grit disc on my orbital sander, and that should rough it up enough for what I need. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do all this back to back, so I did have to sand between glassing, which isn't ideal because it makes a mess. So now I may actually have to run to the store and get more acetone to do a full acetone wipe on this. I left the lid off and a lot of it evaporated, but so I may have to get more acetone, but I'm gonna see if I can get as far as I can, at least do the center one before I run to the store. That way give the center one some time to set up, so I'm not working around a sticky stringer to do the other one. So plan is to do the center one first, maybe go to the store, get acetone, let that set up so it's not so sticky, and then do one side and then the other side, so I don't have to deal with messing with anything sticky. Yesterday, or the day before, when I was laying these the chop strand mat in these stringers, I was doing it all at one time, and it was a nightmare. The whole floor was sticky. Every time I would accidentally step too close to the chop strand mat and pull it up, then I had to put my resin on there and push it back down. So it was kind of a mess. I had a couple little areas that were pulled up that I had to sand down that I didn't notice that I had stepped on, and it lifted a little bit, just on the edges, nothing in the corner, so it should still be fine and sealed. So we're about to start with that, get some resin mixed up, and get to it.
Screaming, I don't get it. Always so damn angry. You're the shy type, that's nice. You can stand it either. The screaming for no reason. They are always angry. You are so lonely, I get it. We can be lonely together. We can be lonely forever.
So I've got the layer of 1708 tabbed in. It's coming out about 4 inches and going pretty much almost all the way up the stringer. I started doing the wraps over top with the CSM up front there, but I stopped because it's so hot out here. Even mixing the glass at 1%, you just a little bit under 1%, it's still kicking over so fast. I really can't. It's too big of an area, and I don't have anybody helping me saturate or mix resin to keep up with it. So I'm gonna have to end up sanding the top edge of the 1708 because everything is just too hard. It doesn't lay down. It creates a lot of air pockets underneath. So I'm gonna have to go through this top edge, kind of sand it down so I can get a nice flat layup on the capping of the chop strand mat. I'm doing 2 layers over top of that, just a 4-inch wide or 7-inch wide strip that's just laying over the top, and going down the sides a good ways, but I don't think I'm gonna even bother doing more 1708 than this. The CSM, this 1708, plus the construction adhesive. I mean, this thing is solid. By the time the floor is adhered onto there, I don't think there's gonna be any structural issues, especially on a boat this small. So that's where we're at.